Some housing industry watchers have been thinking that home prices will ease in the second half of the year, but so far hasn't been the case, even as the supply of homes on the market finally increases. Diana Olick joins us to explain why. Diana, good morning.
Well, good morning, Joe. Yeah, we're in a housing market now unlike any other, and that's due to economic forces unlike any other. The foreclosure crisis, the Great Recession, the pandemic, and the unprecedented quick cut and then quick spike in mortgage rates. So take a look at supply of both newly built and existing homes together for sale. It shot up during the 2005 housing boom and the ensuing foreclosure crisis, which of course flooded the market with homes. So home building essentially ground to a halt. By 2012, new homes were just 6% of all supply. Then total supply dropped even more in the pandemic when demand spiked in those first 2 years. Now it's finally climbing back slowly, but in a weird kind of twist, it's mostly newly built homes. The month's supply of new homes for sale is now almost 3 times that of existing homes. Month supply is how long it would take to sell that supply at the current sales pace. Now, new and old home month supply usually track pretty closely, but not so much now. Now, new construction, it's making up 30% of total inventory. And this, of course, is due to roller coaster mortgage rates dropping to historic lows at the start of the pandemic and then spiking to 20-year highs just 2 years later. That makes homeowners who wanted to move up instead stay put, cutting existing supply further, and it makes buyers look for cheaper homes. So you can see that in the month supply of homes for sale in May by price tier. It is the lowest in the $100,000 to $500,000 price range because that's where most demand now lives. And that is despite the fact that supply has increased the most in those lower tiers. The homes are just getting eaten up that fast. And that, Joe, is why prices just keep going up.
So what does that, which home builders would we buy then? We should buy the ones that can make houses between $100,000 and $500,000. You don't want to buy the luxury or premium house builders then.
Well, the home builders who do have that entry-level supply are doing the most in sales right now. We do see strength in Toll Brothers, which is the luxury home builder, but that's only because they're not really reliant on those mortgage-dependent buyers. But home builders like KB Home, D.R. Horton, who have that Express brand, that real entry-level brand, they're still seeing a lot of demand. But we should also note that the home builders don't necessarily have to worry about that 9-month supply we're talking about. People think, oh my God, are the home builders in a glut of homes? And that's because just 20% of that supply has actually been built yet. That's how they measure that supply. It can be houses that have been permitted, it can be houses under construction, or houses that are finished. So the home builders have a lot of control over what they finish, when, and what they even start, depending on that supply situation. But once again, probably that entry-level builder is going to be the best bet.
So if interest rates were to come down, are there a lot of people that want to sell their existing homes if they get the chance, or not?
I certainly think there's a lot of pent-up seller demand. There are, aging baby boomers in big homes who would like to downsize, but they're thinking, why do I want to get rid of my 3% rate and trade up to a 7% rate, especially when the market is this pricey? But they're also lured by the fact that, hey, the market's pricey and I can sell my home for a lot. So if rates come back into that 6% range, that's where we saw last fall and into the winter that people did start to move. Sellers started to say, okay, I'm going to go, because that 6% range is a little less, shall we say, unsavory than the 7% range.
Resemble that remark. Aging baby boomers. I might sue you for definition.
We're all aging, Joe. Even babies are aging, okay?
Definition of character. I might sue you because I do resemble.